I'll get a 28 from one truck when you're ready. Go ahead.
Barry, hey. What's the situation with the body earlier? Yeah. Yeah. Jeez, okay. Well, bring in the suspects we have as soon as possible. Okay. Bye.
What's the update on the kid the investigation team found this week?
Name's Hayden Mitchell, 17 years old, goes to Layworth High, was stabbed behind an equipment shed.
Yikes.
Knife to the chest. Pretty basic if you ask me.
Ugh.
Heard he was the golden boy of the school. Possibly done out of jealousy.
Maybe other reasons. We never know.
Maybe.
You have the suspects ready?
Yep. We just have to bring them in here for questioning. First suspect, Kyle Forgard. How do you know Hayden?
Well, me and Hayden have grown up together. He's been my best friend since day one. You know, we've always been on the same team for as long as I can remember.
What were you doing on the day of his death?
I was at the library, right, watching a film. You can ask my mom.
Why were you at school early that day?
I went to lift in the morning because Coach said he wanted us to start benching more.
How well did you know Hayden?
Our families were like best friends. He is my brother. I still can't believe this is happening.
Did you like him?
Of course I did. I mean, he was a pain sometimes, but aren't we all?
Who was he as a person?
Well, you see, Hayden was like this perfect person with this almost magnetic-like personality and charm, you know? I don't know what it was about him, but everyone was obsessed with him. You know, it was really annoying sometimes to see every girl all over him, giving him all this attention, when I was just as good, if not better, at football in school. Whatever.
I see. Seems like you were jealous of Hayden in some aspects.
No, why would I ever be jealous of Hayden? He was my best friend.
Okay, kid, whatever you say.
So, what about his family life?
I mean, we've been family friends for a while, but something was always a bit off, but I never asked just because he never wanted to talk about it. You know, I was over at his house one time, and his parents were arguing pretty brutally about something.
Do you know what they were arguing about?
No, not really. I couldn't hear him very well. I kind of heard something about someone completely breaking someone else's trust, but I really don't know what that's about. I probably shouldn't be talking about this. I don't think it's my place to say. Sorry, ma'am.
That's okay. Thank you for your input. Let's just move on. Second suspect, Jessica Mitchell. So, Jessica, first off, I just wanted to say that I'm so sorry for the loss of your brother.
He was my best friend. I don't know what to do. I can't believe that he's gone.
Now, Jessica, you and Hayden were close, correct?
Yeah, we were always close. He would help me with my homework, make me laugh, and protect me. I just wish that I could have done the same.
Okay, so, Jessica, how would you describe your home life?
Do I have to? I don't like talking about it.
Oh, we're just trying to gather some background information on your family so that we can maybe understand you and your brother's situation better.
Well, my parents have been fighting lately, and that's been really hard to go home to.
How were things before the fighting?
Before the fighting, well, everything was fine. Everyone was happy. My parents just couldn't get enough of Hayden's football and academic success. He was constantly praised by them, and they spoiled him. He always got their approval without even trying. He was always Mr. Perfect's son.
And what about you?
Me? Well, I never got half the attention Hayden got from our parents. They would forget about me. Can you imagine that? Being forgotten by your own parents. It was like I was invisible. But Hayden would always remember me. And he didn't make me feel invisible.
So, would you say you were jealous of the amount of attention Hayden got from your parents?
Believe me, if you were in my shoes, you would have been too. I could just never do anything right to get their attention or approval. I hated so much as waves, and they're praising him like a god.
I'm really sorry to hear about that. And if there's anything that we can do, just let us know.
Oh, thank you, but it's alright. I'm just trying to get done with these questions.
Alright, I understand. I'll move on. What were you doing at school that early in the morning?
Hayden said that he wanted to go to school early, and I thought that I should too. I like getting to school early.
Do you know anyone who could have done this to your brother?
Of course not. I mean, Hayden's a jerk, and especially to this one weird kid, but he's a good person. You have to believe me when I say that.
Weird kid, you say?
Yeah, but he's no one.
What was this kid's name? What was he like?
Michael Ashfield. You can always find him lurking in the corners of rooms and hiding in the shadows.
Now why did Hayden give Michael a hard time?
I don't know. We've always grown up with Michael being in the same class with us, and Hayden just never seemed to like him. There was this one night last week where I saw Michael and my dad arguing about something, but I assumed that I was imagining it since it was late.
So are you saying that you saw Michael outside your house, arguing with your dad?
Yeah, I think I did, but I could be wrong since it was really late.
Okay, Jessica, one last question. What were you doing before you heard what happened to your brother?
I was in the bathroom touching up on my makeup, and I heard a scream. And once I heard that scream, I knew.
You knew what?
Hayden was dead.
Third suspect, Rachel Richards. How do you know the victim?
Hayden? How did I know him? I dated him. We were like in love.
What were you doing on the day of his death?
School, obviously. I had a math test, which I knew it was going to fail without Hayden's help. Oh, and for your information, everyone in that class was there too. Well, everyone except for that one kid in the back, but I was too busy to remember who it was. Whatever, it doesn't really matter too much.
Okay, now why were you at school early that day?
Well, I heard the football team was doing extra workouts in the morning, and the gym is open to everyone, and I thought I'd go work out. So, like, I know, maybe make him regret that he dumped me, maybe beg for forgiveness and go back to being the cutest couple in the school.
How well did you know Hayden?
Probably more than anyone. I mean, he was pretty close to his sister too. I mean, yeah.
Did you like him?
Wait, are you serious? Yes. Well, I mean, I dated him, so.
Who was he as a person?
He was great. Everyone loved him. Tons of service hours, student council, debate team, varsity football, dated the hottest girl too, I mean.
But who was he? Not what he did. Who was he really?
What do you mean? Like, he was friends with everyone. He was super nice and like always like so caring of everyone. Sometimes he cared so much for everyone that he forgot me. But I forgave him. I mean, what other choice did I have? I mean, he's a really nice guy.
So, what about his family life?
Well, I don't know. No one does really. Except for his sister, obviously. I mean, he's been getting worse the past few months. He won't like tell me, he just calls me nosy. Anyway, I don't think it was that great. I think something happened with his parents and his sister always had his back, but I just saw her this morning and she seemed, I don't know, on edge. Almost like scared.
Could you tell us more about that? Have you ever seen her like that? Do you think maybe she was possibly involved in this crime in any way?
I don't know. No. I never really thought that she had motive. I mean, I would have thought that it would have been someone who was constantly outshined by him. Like that one guy who kept asking me to be his girlfriend. Didn't seem good enough to me. And it only took Hayden once for him to see me sweep me off my feet. Oh, I'm getting off topic. What were we?
What was this kid's name? What was he like?
I don't know. It was something like Michael. Maybe it's Jack. No. I think it was Michael. And well, I didn't know him that well, but he seemed to always be trying to, show me how good he was. Like he wanted to get ahead of somebody, be in the spotlight. Silly, right?
Is this all you know?
Yeah, I never really interacted with him much besides seeing him in the hallway.
Fourth suspect, Jane McCormick. Thank you so much for coming in today, Miss McCormick. We would like to ask you some questions about Hayden Mitchell.
Okay.
What kind of student was Hayden? Was he good in school?
Hayden was a smart kid, so yeah, you could say that.
What was he like outside of the classroom?
Well, yes, I hate saying it, but he did have a bit of an ego. He always held his head higher than others and kind of disrespected some of the teachers.
Did Hayden ever disrespect you?
Yeah, yes, he did very much disrespect me. Every day in class, he would always look for ways to annoy me, to infuriate me. You know, officer, I don't like being corrected. I find it very, very rude. And Hayden always pointed out whenever I read something wrong or got a wrong answer, or even had the slightest slip of tongue, and one of his classmates would always join in and make a bigger scene out of it. I'm pretty sure it was Mitch, or Michael, I don't know, but he was always with Hayden wherever he went. I'm not sure if that matters, but anyways, he would mock me for that, even if it was little. Those little times add up. He was a great kid in the books, but didn't have the respect for his elders, and the way he held himself in my classroom was way out of line.
Now, Miss McCormick, we heard from some of your students that Hayden was kicked out of your classroom the day he was killed. Could you tell us what happened?
Well,
it just doesn't make sense.
What do you mean?
I mean, the suspects. They were all seen by a lot of people at the scene of the crime, and all their motivations for being angry at Hayden make sense, but not quite. They're not that deep enough that they would go as far to murder Hayden because of them. And it really did seem that all of them were telling the truth during their interviews.
Clearly, you're thinking way too much into an obvious murder. It was the girl, Rachel Richards. An obvious crime of passion, ex-girlfriend, jealous of the attention he was giving to other people.
But what if it isn't as obvious as it seems? Rachel honestly just seemed to be troubled. Thinking that Hayden was the best that she could get. I think she only wanted Hayden so that she could feel good about herself, and she wouldn't have murdered Hayden to win him back that way.
Well, then who would you point the blame on? The teacher, the friend, the...
Michael Ashfield. It was a name mentioned in several interviews.
So, the odd one out. What's the name got to do with it?
The descriptions of him seemed to be jealous and in pain, and he was always involved in Hayden's life somehow, but he was cast into the shadows.
So, you want to interview him?
Of course. course I want to interview him. Maybe he'll reveal more about Hayden, or maybe he'll reveal himself. I think it's possible. Let's interview him.
Fifth suspect, Michael Ashfield. Sorry about not letting you know earlier before we decided to bring you here. We just wanted to ask you some questions.
So, Michael, how was your relationship with Hayden Mitchell?
Well, me and Hayden weren't too close. We weren't enemies, though, either. We just had a few classes. We were classmates. That's it.
What was your reaction to the news?
I mean, I kind of just told you guys. I wasn't too close with him, so hearing the news he died was obviously a shock to me. And I was sad to hear it, but like we just didn't interact that much, so I don't know. That was it.
We heard from a previous testimony that... We heard from a previous testimony that we had earlier that you were seen arguing with Michael's dad, Scott Mitchell. Do you care to disclose what you were arguing about?
How does that have anything to do with this case?
Because we had heard earlier that the Mitchells have been arguing for quite some time, and I have reason to believe that you might somehow be involved in their situation.
You really want to know? Well, if you really want to know then, I'll tell you the short story. About 17 years ago, Hayden's dad got real tired of banging his newlywed wife, so he decided it would be fun to fool around with this woman named Eva. And when she found out she was around with this woman named
Situation.
bad time to tell him after I was born. So yeah, pretty much things were pretty normal after that. Except when Elle, Scott's wife, heard rumors that her and her husband had cheated on her a while back and didn't tell her. That's what their whole situation is.
Whoa, kid, I'm really sorry to hear that.
And you know what sucks? All this time, I just wanted to be a part of the family. Not like my mom was doing anything to make me happy. And I just thought Scott would understand my situation, but apparently he couldn't take me in because I was evidence of his biggest mistake. And it would be a process that wouldn't be worth the end. I mean, after all those years, just for him to throw me away like that, what am I? A piece of trash? No, I was his first son. I should be in that house. Not Hayden. That kid had everything handed to him his entire life. He's never had any real problems a day in his life. This should be me. He deserved to pay. I mean...
What do you mean he deserved to pay? Do you mean by his death?
No, of course not. I would never kill Hayden.
Well, what you just told us alludes to, how would I say, something different. Why don't you just tell us the truth, Michael?
I killed Hayden. I'm feeling a whole bunch of emotions right now, so please just let me talk. Hayden is the son I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be the golden boy, the perfect son. I got so jealous of the life he was living. And as of recently, things at home couldn't get worse. My mom can't take care of me, and hell, she's not even herself most of the time anyways, except for the drinking and stuff. And I was so mad at Scott, my dad, for literally pretending I didn't exist my entire life. I just had to send him my message about how I felt. I tried to ask him, adopt me. I mean, I was his son. And when he kept saying no, I kept getting angrier and angrier and angrier until I just had enough. My jealousy of Hayden turned into a rage. And as each day passed, the idea of me ending his life, of me being able to show how I truly felt, kept making more sense. And that fantasy of me killing him slowly became a reality. And on April 30th, that day, that fateful day, I knew what would happen. My mom was out cold on the couch, and I knew she wouldn't notice a missing knife from the kitchen. So I took one of them, stashed it in my backpack. I got to school early in the morning, knowing that Hayden would be there for morning workout with his football team.
I hid over by the water fountains, more specifically behind the old locker room or tool shed building, and waited until I saw him. A few minutes later, I saw him getting water and decided, well, this is probably the best time to do this. Well, I just kept thinking to myself, what have I done? What have I done? And I ran away with tears running down my face.
Well, thank you, Michael, for your cooperation with us. We are going to get our authorities in here, and you are going to be arrested and taken to the nearest detention center, where your punishment will be given to you by trial. I hope you've learned your lesson, Michael, because this is a terrible crime to commit, and I hope someday you can learn from your mistakes.
On April 30th, 2020, at about 6:45 a.m., a 17-year-old student named Hayden Mitchell was murdered at Leaworth High School. The boy was the son of infamous lawyer Scott Mitchell and was the school's golden boy, with exceptional grades and record-breaking football wins. Mitchell arrived at school early with his sister, where he was then murdered by fellow classmate and supposed half-brother Michael Ashfield. Ashfield is reportedly the son of Scott Mitchell, who had an affair about 17 years ago with Eva Ashfield. Police say this was a crime of passion, with Michael wanting to be a part of Mitchell's family life and being jealous of Hayden. After doing multiple interrogations, reports say that detectives Eli Miller and Tracy Porter realized there was a common mention of Ashfield's character, which then led to his arrest. Ashfield will be facing trial in the next week or so. Hayden's memory will be kept alive by his twin sister Jessica, mother Elle Walker Mitchell, and father Scott Mitchell, along with a school memorial in his name. Reporting to you live, I'm Duke Fisher, Fox 2 News. Back to you, John.